Good evening. I'm Tad, and I'm a drug addict. And I'm a board member of the Eleanor Society, also known as 2218. Please stand and help me open with the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Welcome to 2218 Saturday Night Speaker Meeting. This is an open meeting and all are welcome. We feature members of recovery to share with us their experience, strength, and hope. For 78 years, 2218 has been self-supporting home of recovery. Our main source of income is our membership. We encourage you to become a pledging member. Please feel free to see me after the meeting to learn more about this opportunity. You can also go to the front desk and they'll help you too. The second way 2218 is self-supporting is through our own contributions. We will pass the basket now. Tina's going to go around with the basket. Thank you for your contributions. Donations help keep our lights on, heating, air conditioning, water, sewer, and maintaining the building, which was originally built in 1887, but you're more important than your money. As we pass the basket, please be sure to silence your cell phones. All right, announcements. 2218 is going to have its third annual Ride for Recovery. There's flyers. There's flyers all around. Ask someone at the front desk or myself. That's going to be on June 26th. And I have asked David to come up and read the clarity statement.
My name is David. I'm a recovering addict. And this is the clarity statement, ladies and gentlemen. We are presented with a dilemma when NA members identify themselves as addicts and alcoholics or talk about living clean and sober. The clarity of the NA message is blurred. To speak in this manner suggests that there are two diseases, that one drug is somehow separate from the rest, requiring special recognition. Narcotics Anonymous makes no distinction between drugs. Our identification as addicts is all-inclusive, which allows us to concentrate on our similarities, not our differences.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Thank you, Dave.
I have asked Rob to read how it works. Yeah, Rob! Yeah! Yeah! Rob, yeah!
Oh God. I'm Rob, I'm an addict. Here's how it works. If you want what we have to offer and are willing to make the effort to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. These are the principles that made our recovery possible. 1, we admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, we humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, we continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry the message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs. This sounds like a big order. We can't do it all at once. We didn't become addicted in one day. So remember, easy does it. There is one thing more than anything else that will defeat us in our recovery. This is an attitude of indifference or intolerance towards spiritual principles. 3 of these that are indispensable are honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. With these, we are well on our way. We feel that our approach to the disease of addiction is completely realistic, for the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. We feel that our way is practical, for one addict can best understand and help another addict. We believe that the sooner we face our problems within our society and everyday living, just that much faster do we become acceptable, responsible, and productive members of that society. The only way to keep from returning to active addiction is not to take that first drug. If you are like us, you know that 1 is too many and 1,000 is never enough. We put great emphasis on this, for we know that when we use drugs in any form or substitute one for another, we release our addiction all over again. Thinking of alcohol as different from other drugs has caused a great many addicts to relapse. Before we came to NA, many of us viewed alcohol separately, but we cannot afford to be confused about this. Alcohol is a drug. We are people in disease with the disease of addiction, and we must abstain from all drugs in order to recover.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. All right, I'm gonna have a gentleman come up and introduce our speaker, but I just want to say I'm pumped. This guy, the guy that's going to speak today, he always gets me jacked up about recovery. If I'm ever on a low energy day, which there's not a lot of them, this guy he's the ticket. He's the ticket. So without further ado, I'm going to have Mark come up here and introduce our speaker.
Hi, family. I'm a grateful recovering addict and alcoholic named Mark. I've had the pleasure of knowing Taylor for 5 years, and I met him before COVID-19 hours hit, and originally met at the By the Book meetings and the bakery meetings at MCC. And ever since I've known him, he's always been the big hugger and willing to accept everybody where they're at, and is determined to stay clean. And I think of him like a little brother from another mother. So without further ado, come on.
Oh, Mark, could you grab that book? Okay, thank you so much. Hi. Okay. Hi, I'm an addict. My name's Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
And I'm extremely nervous right now. I'm shaking a little bit. That's okay. I'm just going to ask for a moment of silence to invite my higher power in the room, as well as pray for the addict that's going to die tonight out there. And for the addict that's just coming in the doors tonight, you know, and just a moment of silence. All right, once again, I'm an addict, and my name is Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
And, you know, I'm really grateful to be here. I was just thinking about this earlier today that the first day I had clean, can I take my mask off?
Please, yeah.
After my last relapse, I had 1 day clean. And I was here, man. I was here on my first day back, you know, and I'm so grateful to be here again and to have the opportunity to speak. So I'm just going to kind of share my story, like what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. So, and I'm going to do my best. So here we are. I was born in 1997, and my dad just told me a story recently that when I was born, my mom was in jail, so we had to go pick her up and bring her to give birth to me. So I'm a jail baby. I also found out, you know, that my mom was smoking crack while I was in her stomach, so I'm also a crack baby, and so I'm a little crazy, man. You know. But anyways, growing up, like I was taught early on, like drugs are not good. Don't do drugs. My parents did drugs. My dad is telling these stories, and my mom is not there. You know, my dad's like, I was over north. I was selling cocaine. He's telling me all this crazy stuff about how he used to live his life, and my mom was not there. She was always drinking. She was always using. You know, I didn't have a mom growing up. And so as I started growing older, you know, my dad would sometimes be like, Mom's on her way to come visit you guys. And like, I remember sitting out in the front yard with my brother, and like looking down the street. It was a beautiful Minnesota summer day, blue sky, green grass, and Mom never showed up. And that happened so many times. And that sucked, man. You know, having a mom who was an addict, and my dad's an addict too. And that's okay, because I'm an addict, and it's a beautiful thing to be an addict, you know. And so as I grew older, like I told myself, I'm never going to use, I'm not going to have sex until I'm married. I'm not going to do none of that shit, man. And I hope my brother did the same. But then I found out that my brother started using, and I was really sad, and it broke my heart. And I remember sitting in the shower for like an hour straight, just pouring out tears, man. Like, why is my brother doing this? Like, we seen what happened to our parents. Like, why is he doing this? It broke my freaking heart, because at the time, like, my brother was my only friend. You know, we were really young. This is when I was in like 3rd grade. I don't even know what the age is, but that's really young. And so like I started to become numb to it, you know. I started to think it was kind of funny that my brother and his friends would use. They used to have a good time. They'd laugh. You know, they seemed like they were having a good time. And I didn't have many friends, and I always wanted to hang out with my brother, and I always peek around the corner to see what they were doing. And like, you know, they were getting high. And so eventually in 5th grade, one time they were blowing smoke O's and giggling. And I said, you know, whatever, let me get some. And so I smoked some weed, man, in 5th grade. And I told everybody at school, and the principal called me into the room, and she, you know, she said, "What'd you do? A friend that really cares about you told me that you got high." And I started crying because I was worried she was going to tell my dad. And like, she didn't tell my dad. So in 5th grade, I got caught for smoking weed, didn't get in trouble, didn't tell my dad. And I kind of just quit. As time went on, I started to, I loved baseball. I loved to skateboard. And I didn't want to get high, man. And I didn't feel like I had a problem or anything. I just didn't really get high. But then over time, I started to do it here and there, maybe like after the baseball game and stuff like that. And then in 7th grade, we moved to a homeless shelter. We got evicted, and we moved to downtown Minneapolis in a homeless shelter. And people be smoking crack at the park across the street, and like, you know, people be smoking blunts. And I was a guy smoking the blunts, you know, and you know, just trying to fit in. And it was really, you know, that's what happened. I'd skateboard and I smoked a little bit of weed. And then we moved to another homeless shelter. And for some weird reason, my mom came to stay with us. And like, I remember her and my dad were arguing in the lunch line where we get our dinner. And she's like, Jimmy and Taylor, Jimmy's my brother, are the reason we're in this homeless shelter right now. I didn't understand that. Maybe it was because we were smoking weed in the place we were living before or something. I don't know. But I felt so much pressure. I felt so guilty that I ran away. I ran over to the Stone Arch Bridge. I went under the bridge, and someone was getting high under there, and I got high with them. And in that moment, I learned I could get high to escape my feelings and escape reality. I also knew around that time that the people I hung out with loved to get high, and they loved to start partying a little bit, you know? So I found out I could fit in to get high. I could forget my problems to get high. Getting high was a solution for everything. Like, why haven't I not been doing this? So I'm like, I made a decision. I'm going to get high every single freaking day unless I can't get high. As long, if it's a little this, then that's fine with me, as long as it's something. And so from the age of like 12 to 19, the only day I didn't get high was when I was in juvenile detention center. Every single day I got high. I found the ways and means to get more. And back then it wasn't that hard. You know, we put a couple dollars together and we were able to get loaded, man. So as I went on through high school, like, I got a lot of like charges for assault charges and underage drinking charges and marijuana tickets and all that stuff, man. And I got put on probation at 12, and like my PO said, Taylor, like, you can get high as long as you go to school and as long as you stop getting in fights. And I was like, all right, man, that's crazy. Like, my PO is telling me I can get high. And so anyways, like at that point, I was getting high so often, I was drinking so often that like the reality of it is I started doing different things. I started hanging out with different people in different places, and I met this girl, and we would go to this person's house, and they were just older. They were like twice the age of us. I'm like 15 years old. Everybody there is like 30 to 40 years old. Some of them are missing teeth. I mean, it was just fucking weird. I didn't know what the hell was going on. All I knew is it was really easy to smoke weed over there, you know, and they didn't seem to care that I was young. And through as time went on, I started to realize that they were using other drugs there. They'd be passing a mirror in front of me. They'd be doing stuff like that. They'd be coming home at 3 a.m. all geeked out and eyes wide open. I didn't really care. I didn't really know what was going on. All I knew is I'm just going to smoke weed and I'm just going to drink, and that's it. But eventually, like, there will be like this one night I thought I was going to get laid or something with this girl, because then it started being like, we're going to bring people here because we know that it's a house where there's no parents and we can fucking party here. So like, I try to get girls to come here, and then eventually there was this pill and this girl, and she said, Taylor, just take the fucking pill. And I said, I'm not taking the damn pill. And she said, stop being scared. I'm like, I'm not scared. I'm not taking the damn pill. She said, just take it. And I took it, and I tell you right fucking now, I felt like goddamn Superman. It doesn't matter which one it was. I took it. I started to be able to talk. I started to feel like my fucking body was like fucking heaven. I felt like I fucking was going nuts. You know, it felt amazing. And it's like, I just was talking, and I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, and it's like the people I was talking to had already probably built the tolerance, but I didn't. And I knew I wanted to do more. And I wanted to tell all my friends about it. And if they had money, I was going to get it for them, right? It was this new thing, just like weed was, man. And so anyways, that's what I started to do. And I started to do it. I remember one night on my birthday, like, I had used a lot. And then it's like 3 a.m. It's like my 16th birthday, and I'm geeked out. Hey man, like, I'm in your garage, I'm in your driveway right now. You know, that's what I was turning into, that type of dude, you know? And so like, eventually these drugs that I was using, like, you know, it doesn't matter what or how much we use, but like, I was using a lot, man. And I'd be blowing people's phone up. And I just want to share something really quick, about something that's really, you know, this is an NA basic text. Our personal stories may vary in individual pattern, but in the end, we all have the same thing in common. This common illness or disorder is addiction. We know well the two things that make up true addiction: obsession and compulsion. Obsession, that fixed idea that takes us back time and time again to our particular drug or some substitute to recapture the ease and comfort we once knew. You know, compulsion, once having started the process with one fix, one pill or one drink, we cannot stop through our own power of will. Because of our physical sensitivity to drugs, we are completely in the grip of a destructive power greater than ourselves. I don't know why I like that part so much, but I think it's because like in Narcotics Anonymous, we deal with addiction and like it really doesn't matter what we use. And like, so I think about like, why am I an addict? Because that fucking obsession and that compulsion that I deal with, man. Like it didn't matter what drug it was. Like my brain always went to that one more. What am I going to need to do to get that one more, that ease and that comfort? And like when I took that pill, man, it felt freaking good. And that's that ease and comfort that I chased for so long, man. Like I remember one night I took 20 of those ease and comforts, man. And by that point, the shit stopped working. And it was a nightmare, man. Like I'd take it, I start throwing up, and that was it. And then, and so I found something else. And the same thing kind of happened this time. It was this girl, and like she said she was a doctor, and her boyfriend was all geeked in the other room, and she's like, this stuff right here, this is good for you. It's not bad. I'm a doctor. I'll tell you what, I'm a doctor. It's okay. I'm freaking 16, 17 years old. I'm just looking at this girl like, you're freaking amazing. You're beautiful, and you're a doctor. And like whatever you're talking about right now, it's probably true. So I took that substance, you know, and it didn't kill me. It didn't hurt me. I felt fucking the same. It didn't even work, you know, but it was like, it opened up that door to like, well, because I was like a virgin of drugs one day, man. Like I'm not going to do nothing. And then as time went on, I did another drug, and then and it just I started like losing my virginity to drugs, man. And it just kept opening the door and opening the door. Like this didn't kill me. It actually made me feel pretty good. And everything happened so fast too. Like I don't even think I had the time to think like this shit I'm using is killing people, is putting people away in prison. You know, I just never really wasn't thinking about that much. I was just thinking about how good it felt, you know, and how good it felt to fit in, to have something that people wanted. So I continued to do it. And like in the process of doing that, like I stopped going to high school, and I was just getting charges up the ass, and I was in an abusive relationship. I was the abuser. I mean, the drugs turned me into someone I never wanted to be. And like my dad was disgusted with me. I remember coming home at like 3 a.m. at 17 years old, and my dad had been up all night. Like he knows what the lifestyle's like, and he was sick to his stomach. Like, you know, I'm fucking coming in loaded, man. And it was horrible. And I remember sitting in my room many times, like coming home, and like I didn't want to lay down because I thought I was going to freaking die, man. Like because the drugs were still in me, but they weren't working. Like I was, you know, and I'm just sitting in this chair, like, you know, by myself in the pitch black, like thinking, why am I doing this to myself again? Why am I doing this to myself again? Like there were many times where I was using, I start throwing up all over the place, and like I'm everything's happening so fast, and like people are like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And it's like, yeah, I'm fucking okay, but you know, I'm not. Like just really on the edge, man, and really feeling like I'm going to die many times, but I continued to use. Like I knew like it got to a point where I knew like I might die, but I continued to use, man. And everything was horrible, man. And I didn't see a way out. And like, I remember I would go into high school and they'd be like, hey man, like you smell like weed right now. And I was like, whatever. And they were like, you can't come in here if you smell like weed or if you're high. And I said, well, I'm not going to come in here at all because I need to smoke weed because my anxiety, or I just make some shit up, you know? And it partly was because of my anxiety. And they'd be like, all right, well then you can't come in here. And the days I did get away with coming in school using, I'd leave at lunch to go use. And then one time I was on house arrest, and like this is why I'm an addict, man. It's because I was on house arrest, and it was 4:20, and I go to school, and the only objective I'm allowed to do is go to school and come home. I went to school, I fucking left. And then like I got some weed and I went home, and before I could even smoke it, the police were at the door bringing me to the juvenile detention center. I was a freaking idiot. Like I knew I was going to go to jail if I left school early, but I needed to get high that bad. I mean, insanity, man. Like why would I do that? And I have to really be mindful of these situations. And and all my friends, man, like I remember when we first started using, we were coming up, right? The music was hitting right. We're all happy. We're all smiling. The girls are around, and we're partying and we're feeling like them boys, right? Or them girls, whatever you want to call it. And like, it felt good. But as like time went on, man, like shit started to get a little different, and we started to, you know, get really geeked out, man, and whatever drug we were using, and like the money started to go quicker, and now we're kind of trying to figure out which friend we can like finesse and finagle out of their money to, you know, and who can we skimp, you know, who can we rip off. I started burning bridges like a motherfucker, man. I burned a lot of bridges quick, and you know, when I started to, at first I was known as Taylor, that guy, but now I'm known as, to watch out for fucking Taylor, because he's on some bullshit and he's a fucking dope fiend. Right? Like, and I thought I was a guy, man, but no, I turned into a dope fiend real quick. And so like all my bridges were burnt, and then it started to be like, you know, the drugs were free at first, right? But now we're waiting 6 hours, man, 6 hours in a car for, and I remember, I'll never forget sitting in the back seat of my buddy's car, and he's twisting his fucking hair, man. And he's twisting his hair, and I'm back here just fucking, I don't want to look at the phone. I don't want to look into music. I don't want to listen to music. I just want to fucking get the drugs and go use, man. Like, it went from like, whoo, you know, like, let's fucking party, like, let's have some fun, to like, there's nothing else I can do, man. I got to get high, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to do whatever it freaking takes, man. And so I don't ever want to forget that. I don't, because if I do, I might go back to using. So anyways, in 2015, my PO and my dad said, fuck this, we got to get this kid in treatment. I had just turned 18 years old. So I remember, man, like right before I went to treatment, I was living under these stairs like Harry Potter. Jake wanted me to say that. That's not even that funny. But I was living up because we got my dad's house rated for the second time, and he got kicked off Section 8. It was a miracle in general for him to be on Section 8. But like, me and my brother's dumbass got the house rated and got caught with some drugs, and now he's not on Section 8 anymore. So it's like, now I'm living under this dude's freaking stairs like Harry Potter. I had fucking 10 TV dinners to my name, and I was able to fit the Xbox in there, man, and just play the Xbox. That was it. I quit going to school. I had nothing, man. My girl had a restraining order against me, and she's still coming and sleeping with me. I bet some of y'all know how that goes, man. So anyways, like, it was straight savage mode, but really it wasn't savage. It was dope fiend mode. I lost everything. I'll never forget this. On my 18th birthday, all my friends throughout high school, like 3 or 4 of them came, and like, they came there. I had $10 to my name. I bought a blunt of weed. They didn't bring no fucking money. They didn't bring nothing. We sat in the basement in the dark. No one smiled. No one laughed. They smoked my blunt and they left, man. I don't ever want to forget that, man. I'm not saying my friends were not my friends, but God damn it, I was not happy, and neither were they. So like, there was a time where we were doing good. We were friends, but like, shit, addiction fucked some shit up, man. So then I went to treatment, and then when I went there, man, I ran my first night. Like, I was court ordered to treatment. So if I leave treatment, I just turned 18. So I have a decision to make. I'm running on the side of the road. I got about 20 minutes. I'm getting there. Let's go. All right, I'm running on the side of the road in St. Cloud, and like, I'm thinking, like, if I don't go back to treatment, I'm going to county jail. If I go to treatment, I'm not going to be able to use. I don't know what's going to happen, and I just have to fucking make a decision. And I made a decision. I'm going to go back to treatment because I don't want to go to freaking jail, because jail sucks. I went to juvenile detention center. When they close that goddamn door, it does not matter what you tell them. They are not opening it up. I tried. I said, I'm fucking throwing up. I'm sick. I'm dying in here. And they said, just shut up and go to sleep. I don't ever want to be locked up again, man. That shit sucked. So like, I really thought about it. I'm just going to go back to treatment. And when I was in treatment, they did a few things, man. And what they did is they brought Narcotics Anonymous meetings in there, and they brought Alcoholics Anonymous meetings in there. So if you do H&I, thank you so much, because that's how addicts figure out about this program, as well as word of mouth. But that's how I figured out about it. And what they said is, I don't ever have to use again, man. And that when I get out of here, you know, hit up some meetings, get connected, and you'll be all right. And that's what I did. I didn't think people got clean outside of treatment. I remember I had this girlfriend. She went to some treatment center, and every day she would call me. And when she called me, I said, like, hey, baby, like, when you get out of here, we're going to get high. That's what I thought happened. I didn't know there was something else, man. And so when NA came in there, like H&I, like, once again, shout the fuck out to H&I. Like, I found out about NA and that I never have to use again. So when I got out of treatment, I went to a halfway house, and the only way we could go or leave anywhere was if we went to meetings. So we'd all hop in this fucking Tahoe or something that looks like a Tahoe. And I was the youngest motherfucker in there, dude. Everybody got there was just getting out of St. Cloud prison. I'm this 18-year-old dude who's fucking hyped on life, never been clean since 12 years old, trying to have some fun and go hit some meetings and talk to some ladies, man. So like, we'd hop in the truck and we'd drive around St. Cloud and all around those areas, man, and we'd have some fun. We'd hit up some meetings, we'd laugh, we'd go out to eat, and I felt a part of it, and I felt good in this recovery thing, man. I wanted more of it. So when I fucking convinced my my therapist at the halfway house that I'm good to go, I don't have any more issues. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, he believed me, and he sent me back to the Twin Cities. And then when I got here, thank goodness, like, I hit up a bunch of meetings, and thank goodness we have so many goddamn fire-ass meetings here in the Twin Cities, man. And if you haven't experienced them, wait till this goddamn fucking pandemic is over, because we get shit popping around here, man. I tell you what, AANA, whatever the hell, get it in, because this fucking program works, and it's saving lives, man. It saved mine. So when I got here, man, like, I started hitting up meetings, man. I started going to hella fucking meetings and getting hella fucking phone numbers, because that's what they told me. They said, go to meetings, get some phone numbers, get a sponsor, have some fun, get a service position, do these things, get protected, get connected, and get your ass in the middle. Why? Because if there's a bunch of addicts right now, what's your name with the Kansas City hat? Or right there. What's your name? Right here, you. Yep. Johnny, yeah, you gave me a hug. You're in the safest fucking place in here right now. Why? Because you're surrounded by a bunch of addicts, man. That's where we need to be, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Because if we are, man, it's hard to fucking go use. But if I'm sitting on the edge, getting ready to go, getting my boot toot scooting ass, getting ready to go, it's easy to fucking go use, man. It's easy to just drop out and say, fuck it. And like, that's kind of how it's been a little bit lately for me. But like, that's how we stay protected. We stay connected. We stay protected, man. And that's really important. That's something I learned early on. And I started going to all the events, because I used to fucking party, man. Like, I went to all the craziest parties I thought I could ever go to. So when I got clean, I had to learn that we can have fun in recovery. Because if we weren't fucking having fun, 19-year-old Taylor is not going to fucking stay clean. Okay? Because it's hard enough as it is. I got to have some fun. I got to live my freaking life, and I got to use some of this crazy ass energy I have inside of me with some fun. And so I started going places, man. I started going to conventions. I started going to fucking NA events. I started going to concerts and stuff with people in recovery. I just started doing all this crazy shit, man. And like, I really started to realize you can have fun clean. Like, and I've had some of the greatest times I've ever had in my life without drugs, man. Like, there was a meeting called at the St. Paul Hazelton, an NA meeting called A High You Cannot Buy. This program will give us a high we cannot buy, like, if we just keep coming back. Don't leave before the miracle happens, man. Like, this shit works. And so anyways, here's a few fucked up things I did. Excuse my language. I hope my profanity isn't going to get me kicked out early. Just kidding. I don't know who, but so anyways, I did a few stupid things, man. Like, I went to go hang out with my old using buddies, because they told me they weren't going to use around me and everything's going to be okay and we can go back to the same spots we were using at, but just don't use. And I did that a couple of times successfully. And there was my proof to all the people in the rooms that told me, don't go with your old friends to them old places. What you mean? I just did it and I didn't use. I'm fine, right? No. It was about the second or third time where the dude who I used to use, but he didn't even use. I'm the one that used. And I overdosed, man. And I ended up in detox. I thought they were bringing me to Candyland. I thought I called the cop. I said, call the motherfucking police right now. He said, no, man, I'm not doing that. I said, I'm overdosing. I'm dying. This shit's about to kill me. He's like, no. And I just had 15 months clean. And he finally called the ambulance. The ambulance comes and they're like, woo, you know, and they put me in the back of the ambulance. They started shooting me up with Valium or something to chill me out. And I'm really thinking they're bringing me to Candyland. They brought me to some fucking detox. And like, dude was in the other bed. Yeah. And I'm like pissing all over the wall and shit, asking them like, why can't you give me some fucking water? And they're like, we're giving you the water through your IV. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, and I don't ever want to do that again either. And so like, you never know what's going to happen when we use, man. And so anyways, then I started, that's one thing I did. So I learned I shouldn't go hang out with my old using friends at the old using places. And another thing is, man, like, I started doing a bunch of, what else did I do that was stupid? A lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. When my sponsor said, you know, don't go hanging out with the girls in recovery, man, I didn't listen to that shit either, man. Like, that took me a long time, man, to learn that one. And I almost fucked myself out of the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, man. I'll be honest. I've done some, you know, I don't want to talk about it right now, but yeah. I've made a lot of mistakes, but man, there's a few other things that I've just screwed up doing. Oh, yeah, this one girl, she said, hey, like, you know, she was talking about she wanted to, you know, have sex with me. And I was in college, right? Like, and I'm so grateful. Like, recovery gave me the opportunity to go back to high school, go to college, and do all that crazy shit. But like, I remember I was at college. She said, yeah, we'll go have sex at my dorm. And I said, okay, let's go. And like, we went there. She didn't have sex with me. She didn't look how I thought she would look naked. I'm not even trying to talk like that. And she gave me a weak ass hand job. And I was upset. And once again, man, like I didn't get what I thought I wanted. So I'm like, okay, where's the food at? I need to eat something. But one thing I remembered is she had told me that she had some drugs. And I knew that like, because she had some drugs, like maybe that's sketchy. Maybe I shouldn't go hang out with her. She has drugs, but I felt strong in my recovery, right? And I said, no, we're just having sex, no drugs. We're going to have fun. I didn't get what I wanted. I ended up saying, hey, how does that weed smell like nowadays? I bet I can roll you a nice joint. And before you know it, I'm lighting that fucking joint up, another relapse, man. And like, another scenario that happened was I tried this. I tried bringing an addict in recovery with this old girl I used to sleep with and use with to a rave. And like, so we went. I thought this was the solution. I thought this was the formula. I thought it might work. And then we go there and like, she's like, can your buddy buy me a drink? And I'm like, yeah, man, like my recovering buddy, buy her a drink, bro. Cause I'm like fucking 20 or 19. And he buys her a drink and like, he hands it to me to give to her. And before I could even think about it, I drank the fucking drink. And then I kept drinking, like one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. And I just got a license, I just got a car. And before you know it, like I'm looking on Google, how long until you drink this much that you can drive? And it said like 6 fucking hours, man. And I had 15 minutes and that didn't work. So that's just, I had a bunch of these weird experiences, man. Like I'm talking about, I went to a meeting and told everybody like, I feel like using, and then like, and they taught, someone shared with me and gave me that love and that support. And I still went to go get high. Like that's been my experience too. But like, you know, the last time I used, I don't ever want to forget it because they say, don't ever forget the last time you use, or it might not be the last time you use. So I don't want to forget it, man. Like I've just been coming back to meetings. I was doing my college stuff and this dude hit me up. He said, Taylor, you come pick me up. I'll do some with you. So I go pick him up. When he does some with me, I take a poop on the way because I'm really excited to go use. You know how it gets? Them using poops, you know? And so I went to go do that and and I get there and I'm using it. It's not working, man. It's not working at all. And then and I'm still using though because I want it to work. I'm like, this shit, come on, get going here. My heart's feeling all weird, my body's feeling all weird, but why am I not high? Let's keep it going. And I remember it's kind of depressing because in that moment, like I knew like maybe my heart's fucked up and my body's feeling weird because I'm about to freaking die because I'm using a drug that might kill me. But fuck it, let's use anyways. I'm talking about insanity, man. Like it's insane. And so anyways, it started to work and he was doing it for free at first. And then after that, like he said, oh, this is the free stuff. And now you can go now. And I said, okay, I'm good to go. And then I call him back and I'm like, all right, fuck it. Let's get some more. Here's my money. Fuck it. Let's go get some more. Here's the ATM. I cashed out my ATM. No more money in ATM, all in dude's pocket, drugs in me, wearing off. And then by that time I dropped him off and then I called him again and he said, dude, like I'm doing something else now. And I went to go pick up my ex and like she's thinking we're going to go watch movies and shit. And like I tell her like, baby, I got something to go take care of. And she watched me call this dude 20 times in a row. He said no every time. He said, dude, you're done. You're done. And I remember just being fucking stuck like you got to get me, man. You look at me. I mean, this is what I loved like, you know? And so anyways, and he finally gave it to me, man. And I was ready to smack their fucking heads together, take the goddamn drugs and just leave. But I used it. And I remember them laughing at me saying, dude, you need some help. Yes, I fucking do. You know, so anyways, the next day I told my sponsor I use and he told me, Taylor, I think you need to go to treatment. I said, why? You know, because I know Narcotics Anonymous works. I don't need to go to treatment, man. Like they told me that when I was in treatment. It's just, you know, and treatment fucking saved my life. And they gave NA and AA a platform to come carry the message, do some 12-step work. But I know I don't need to go to fucking treatment because I know if I just go to fucking meetings every day, get a sponsor and be honest with my sponsor and get a service position, making coffee or cleaning the ashtrays, which we don't do that, but that's what they told me would happen, but we don't do that anymore. But like become the chair, become the secretary, become the treasurer, any of those service positions, get connected, you know, have some fun in recovery, work some steps. Like if you do that, this program might work. There's a buddy of mine named Mark. He just celebrated 40 years clean here in NA. And he told me, Taylor, NA is just like a platform, right? It doesn't really matter what you do with it. It's just a platform of recovery. You kind of make it how you want. And so like he said, get away from that textbook shit. You have to do it like this. You have to do it like that or it's not going to work. That's fucking bullshit. But there are some key points that I have done in my recovery that have really made it a lot easier, man. And I've already said it a few times, like going to meetings every single day. Like I said earlier, I got high every single moment, man, like before school, during school, after school. Next thing you know, I'm not in school. I'm under the fucking stairs getting high all freaking day, ripping people off. Like if I can make one meeting a day, that's good. You know, and that's what I did, man. So I started going to meetings every single day while I was in college. I go to college, go to coffee shop, do step work, do school work, and then go to a meeting every single day, like clockwork. And in that process, I got people's phone numbers, man. Like at the meetings, got phone numbers. I don't use them, but there's a lot of phone numbers in my freaking phone right now. I do a lot of them, but I didn't use them like maybe I should have. But it felt good to get to know people, go smoke at the smoke break and talk and to learn how to conversate. I didn't know how to conversate until I came here. So I learned how to talk and I started doing these things, man, and my life started to get better. And I started to really enjoy my recovery. And I started to learn a lot of new stuff, man. And just I felt a part of, like, it felt really good to be kicking ass in recovery, you know, because for once in my life, like, I felt good, like I was using drugs, but I didn't have the guilt and the shame of all the stuff I was doing, man. Like, it felt good, like a high you cannot buy. And I continued to do that. I think I went to 2 years of they say 90 and 90. I did like 2 years and 2 years, and it didn't affect my life, you know. I remember a while ago, like, I was talking about my mom, and like, so I just want to say it's because of some real shit. Like, I started showing up for my mom in a lot of good ways in my life. And when I got clean, and she called me all the time, and we were talking, and I was going to visit her all the time and stuff like that. And I'd go to work and bring her hot pretzels with cheese and stuff. And on Mother's Day, she said, Taylor, can you bring me fishing on Lake Minnetonka? No, we're not going on a boat. We're going on a dock where it's trespassing, but we're going fishing, right? Like, but I brought her fishing, and I brought my dad. And for the first time in my entire life, like, it was me, my dad, and my mom, and we were all clean. No one was using that day. It's a fucking recovery miracle. And I'm going to tell you right now, yeah. And, I picked them up in the car too. Like, before I got clean, I had nothing, and there's no freaking guarantee that you're going to have something when you come here. But we have one promise, and that's freedom from active addiction. Everything else is a freaking gift. So anyways, I was able to work hard, get a car, get a license, get a whatever the heck, a car, you know, and I picked them up. And like, I remember going into open the door for my mom, and she's like, my handsome son is turning into a gentleman. And it felt amazing, because when I was using it, was not the case. And so I brought him the fishing, and then dropped them off, and that felt good, man. That's what recovery is about sometimes. And it was about a couple weeks later that my mom said, Taylor, will you come over and watch some movies with me? Like, I'm making a nice dinner. This is what recovery is about. And I go over there, and I remember saying, like, Mom, like, I got to go to these meetings. Like, I ate the food really quick, but I said, Mom, give me a big ass fucking hug. Like, I love you, but I got to go to these meetings. So this is how I stay clean, so I could show up for you, right? And so anyways, if I can go to the meeting, about a week later, my sister calls me, and she texts me. She says, call me right now. And I call her, and I say, what's up? I'm just leaving my home group. It's Late Night NA, Saturday, 4747 Lindale. David, no, what's up? Let's get it. Very good meeting is closed right now, but it will be open again by our higher powers hope, right?
Get it back open.
Right, let's get it back open. But anyways, I called my sister. She said, well, I said, what's up? She said, Mom's dead. So a week after that beautiful moment that I had with my mom, 2 weeks after that moment of Mother's Day, my mom passed away. It was an overdose on alcohol. Alcohol is a drug. It'll kill you just like anything else. And it was horrible, man. It was horrible. But what I just want to say, like, is, I don't know. There's nothing really good about what I just said, but it's the reality of this thing, man. So firsthand, I experienced in my family someone dying from addiction. And like the saying, you know, just recently, my brother, when I got clean, he went to the workhouse, I went to treatment, and he got out, and like, he continued to use. Like, he said, I'm just drinking sometimes, man. I'm just drinking sometimes. And next thing you know, he's not drinking sometimes, he's using. I'm trying to stay clean. I kind of got to set that boundary. And he gets in some trouble with the law. It doesn't really matter what, but he's doing 5 years right now. And I'm talking about, like, we are no better or worse than anybody here. We just sometimes get caught up doing some shit. And he's caught up doing some shit, doing some time right now. I get to talk to him every now and again, but he's doing some fucking time. I don't want to do time, man. And it is a result of addiction. It might not be because of the drugs, but it is a result of the addiction. So it's some clear-cut evidence, like, what could happen if I go out? My mom and my brother. And like, if you stay around here long enough, like, I've been around here, Mark said, what, like 5 years? I have not been clean for 5 years. My clean date actually is October 24th of 2017. That's about 3 years and a couple months. And so, yeah. Yeah, man, this program works, but I'm telling you, like, some stuff, like, if we stay around here, we're going to make some friends, and sometimes those friends are going to die, and it's going to happen out of nowhere. Like, we are at pretty much like war. It's a beautiful war, right? Where if we surrender, we win. right? Who would have knew? By giving the fight up, we win the fight. That's how I stay clean on a just for today basis. But like some people are going to die and it's devastating. But we're also going to see some people coming in here dead spiritually and get to sit back and watch them as they grow and become a person they never imagined possible. I'm one of those people. Like there's many miracles around here, man. And there's some tragedies as well. And it's going to be fucking tough, man. But it's definitely worth it because the result, the reality is if I don't come here and if I don't do my work, my steps and talk to my sponsor and try to be a part of in some way, shape or form, I'm going to be out there, man. And it's ugly out there. I don't want to go back. It's not always fun and dandelions in here. It can get really ugly and really weird and just fucking not always fun, but it's a lot uglier out here. I truly believe that. And every time I relapsed, I felt really nervous about coming back. Like I thought people would judge me. I thought maybe people would laugh at me or just would treat me the same. Every time I relapsed and I came back, I was welcomed with open arms and love and a white key tag, man. And everybody said, we are so glad you're back. Keep coming back. And it felt good, man, to be at home again. That happened about 6 or 7 times for me. Like all the fear that I had of coming back, it was no reason for it, man. Like we are here for you. Like if you are just coming back, we are here for you. Welcome back. If you're new, like welcome to the greatest show on earth where addicts get clean, stay clean, and learn how to live clean. You know, since 1953, baby, let's get it. No, that Jake, man, no, but look, I just want to share something too, is like, in this last year, I got 2 minutes. I'm going to go for 2 more minutes. And I went on a road trip with somebody with 5 days clean, and we traveled the United States. We went south to Arizona and up through the west and back. And I had never seen the ocean in my life. And I haven't even really left Minnesota. And we left on an impulse in the car, and we went to Narcotics Anonymous meetings all across the country because I had to see if this shit was actually a worldwide fellowship, and it is, man. And this pandemic has also taught me that as well. I went to some Zoom meetings all across the world. And so anyways, I remember calling my dad, and I was walking across the Golden Gate Bridge, and I said, Dad, guess what I'm doing? He's like, what? I'm like, I'm walking across the Golden Gate fucking bridge, man. He said, no, you're not. I said, yes, I am. And the little things for me, man, like I learned I like to travel, and I like to have fun, and I like to do adventures, and that's something I like to do in my recovery. So that's just something I've learned to do, and recovery has given me the ability to do that. I got a career today, you know, and a nice career where I'm set for life. I'm talking about before I got clean, I never had a fucking job. I sold drugs, man, and I sucked at it, and I used them things. But now I got a career. I went to college, and I got a career, and I'm not, you know, and it's kind of shitty for me right now, but like I still got my career, right? And I'm taking care of my business, man. And I also like, you know, I'm taking, there's some things, man, like mental health issues I've had to deal with. That's real. If you're dealing with mental health, don't be worried about it. I'm dealing with that shit too. I got a psychiatrist and I got a therapist, man. Like, I'm going to tell you what right now, Narcotics Anonymous does not take care of it all, but I'll be damned, man. It takes care of a lot of fucking things, man. Like, I'm telling you what right now, a lot of the things I'm learning and other things I'm doing, it all comes back to this simple program, spiritual principles, man, surrender, acceptance, faith, trust. Like these principles we practice in here are what taught all around the world. So like Narcotics Anonymous pretty much does take care of everything for me, man. Like I'm forever grateful for this program. Like I just, you know, I love going to conventions. Like a convention is like where thousands of addicts get together and just fucking have fun. Like I love that. Like, and I love all different types of stuff, man. And like, so if you're new, keep coming back. Don't leave before the miracle happens. And like, you know, welcome to the greatest show on earth. Thank you.
What a great speaker. I just love that guy, dude. He always gets me jazzed up. So we got about 15 minutes left. We're going to do call-ups. Is there anyone who wants to start and just talk about anything for as long as they want? We got 15 minutes left. Come on up. Yeah.
How's it going? My name is Jamal. So, you know, I'm new in my recovery again. Had 4 years strong, and, you know, I lost it to relationships, you know. I still struggle with relationships. I still find myself being dependent on others. And, you know, that's the hardest thing for me in my recovery is knowing that it's okay to be alone. It's okay to be by myself. It's okay to be, you know, acceptable of, you know, struggling through that loneliness or that insecurities that, you know, plague us all. And, you know, it's hard. A lot of us struggle with it and don't know how to manage it. For me, it was, you know, suicide was the best option, you know, and not wanting to be in this world, not wanting to care about anything, didn't care about myself, didn't care about, you know, the loved ones that I do have around me, the relationships with my family, even my cousin, you know, it's my cousin Joel there. We had a big falling out of relationships because of my addictions, you know, and it's like, that's my best friend in the world. And it's like to lose that and not have that anymore was hard. You know, it was scary because it's like, where do I go from here if I don't have that? And I find myself still leaning into wanting to be with my ex, wanting to be with that person that, you know, I care for and that I opened up to help me come out and be comfortable with myself, be comfortable with my sexuality, be comfortable with my, you know, just who I am in general in life, and knowing that it's not good. You know, there's a lot of things that I'm scared of getting back into that reality of that, you know, hey, there's somebody that I want, but I can't have, you know, somebody that I feel I need, but I don't need, you know, because right now I need myself. And so I'm happy to be out. I just got out last Monday. I was in Valley View recovery, met a really nice guy there, brought him in with me today and made a good friendship. So I'm glad he's here with me. You know, and it's about building those healthier relationships and having somebody that's going to support you and not, you know, you go to them and they're going to fucking sign off on your bullshit and fucking give you what you think you want to know. You know, you have those certain people you go to that, you know, you go to because they're going to tell you, hey, it's okay to use, or it's okay to do this. It's okay to fucking fall back on the same old shit that you were living in life. And really it's, you know, it's not, because we might not have another recovery. We might not have another chance, you know. A lot of us are, you know, a lot of us end up dying, and a lot of us end up getting locked up. A lot of us end up still staying out there, you know. And that's the scariest part for me, is because it's like, I love to get high. It's the best fucking feeling in the world for me. And it's like, I'm not ashamed of it. And that's what scares me the most, is like not having shame and not having guilt of being high. It's like with being able to deal with your fucking self in that aspect, it's like, what's going to stop you from using? You know, it's like nothing, but you got to stop yourself. You got to have that control. You have to have that power. You know, we were powerless, but as we go through life, you know, we take that power back, but we're still powerless, you know? So it's like a two-sided coin. It's like, it's scary, you know? So I don't know. I just wanted to share that, and thank you, and glad to be here.
I'm Tad. I'm a drug addict. I'm going to plug some stuff real quick. And, you know, one thing I forgot to let everyone know that is on the third Saturday, and when there's 5, the 4th, it's not just me, it's Phoenix NA who puts this on. If you haven't checked us out, we're every night except for Wednesdays at 6:30, and we're either in this room or that room. It's a really cool meeting. Come check it out. We'd love to have you on 6:30 every day except for Wednesday. But there's another NA meeting here on Wednesdays as well. So there's lots of meetings. We have schedules up front too. On July 24th, there's going to be a rap battle and dance off. It's going to be after a speaker meeting, which will also be hosted by Phoenix NA. So there was something else, but I forgot. So is there anyone else who wants to do a call? Come on up.
I'd just like to make a small announcement. Hi, my name's Jeannie.
Hi, Jeannie.
So I have 11 months sobriety, and I did tell it, made that effort to come out and get looked up, that things really started happening in my sobriety. And I just loved everything you guys said. So, but I am hooked up with this ministry also, and I kind of do both. And we're having a giveaway on the 27th of this month. And they have a barbecue and a cookout. There's several groups that are together doing clothes giveaway, brand new clothes, men and women's hygiene backpacks, and even for the children. And I just wanted to say that on 27th in Bloomington. And I'm just inviting you all to invite whoever might be in need of something.
Where is it at?
It's here in Minneapolis, between,
No, what is the place?
oh, it's an old closed down, SA. It's right at, 25th in Bloomington. It's right on the, over south side, so between, 12:30, or it starts actually at 1 and come that time, so please stop by.
Thank you very much. Tina, you want to come up? And then you.
I'm Tina, I'm an addict. So I thought I'd step out of my comfort zone because I fucking hate sharing, and like I have the same energy as Taylor. Like I literally am so fucking hyper, and like I can't shut up. Like I will not shut up. And like I thought I would literally step out of my comfort zone because every time someone has asked me to share, like I say no. And like, you know, like people have asked me to share my story. People have asked me to you know, like just share, and like I get so fucking scared. I have really bad stage fright. But like one thing about me is like I've danced for years. Like if I can dance, and like, you know, I gotta just express it through any like other ways and whatever. And but when you share, Taylor, I just want to like appreciate you right now because you're the one who shared. Like when you share, I cannot express in words how fucking like a message you carry for me and everyone else. And like it's amazing. And like my mom also died from this disease. Like I was adopted from Russia. I'm not gonna tell my whole story because it's not about me. But my mom died in Russia, and you know I can always relate to that part. And it's really fucked up because you know like it was a terrifying thing. And like the thing that Taylor said was when like it doesn't matter how much or how little we use or what we use. It's like it's what it does to us. And like the fucking I can't even think of the word. I'm so nervous, but I'm feeling comfortable. Give me a second. But just like the things that I did to get it, and like the things that I like, you know, did to just get that one last high. And you know, I'm just really grateful that like looking back on it, like, you know, okay, I'll say this. My drug of choice was weed, and I always used to compare myself to others, you know? Like, I'd be like, you know, fuck, like, I didn't do heroin, I didn't do meth, I didn't do any of this. Like, why the fuck am I here? And so, like, you know, I'm here because I'm a fucking addict, and I'm grateful for that. I don't give a fuck what you think. But, like, seriously, because I was comparing my recovery to everyone, but it's like the obsession. I have so much obsession over everything. And, like, it just comes with the whole basket. It comes with, like, the sex and the codependency. And, you know, like, it doesn't matter what you use. If you don't think you use enough, you're in the right place. So with that, I'll pass.
Hi, my name is Azalea, and I'm an addict. So you talked about waiting on your mom, and that just really struck a chord with me because that happened to me today. My kids were waiting on me all day, and it wasn't because I was using that I didn't show up, but it's because I've used in the past that my husband didn't believe I was going to show up. So when I did finally show up, they weren't there. I don't know where they went, but they left. So I'm just having a really hard time feeling like I've disappointed them. And I'm in treatment right now with New Way. Thanks. Yeah. living in a sober house, and everything had been going really good. And then that stimmy hit, you know. And when the stimulus hit, like, I was like, shit, I have some money. And money is always like really fucking triggering for me because suddenly I can run around and do whatever the fuck I want to. So I bought a car. And I was like, yeah, I'm mobile now, which brought me right to the wrong places. And I relapsed 2 days ago. And I haven't told anybody. So now I'm telling all of you. Thanks. I was having a lot of guilt about it. And I was kind of feeling like I got away with it. And I kind of don't like that feeling. But I also know that, you know, if I tell the people at treatment, like, this is my last chance with CPS. I'm not going to give up my kids. I fucked up, but I'm not going to give up my kids. I fucked up, but I went home that night where I was supposed to be on time for the curfew and just made myself sit there. I stayed there the whole time, twacked out and did my nails for like fucking 8 hours. And they don't even look that great. I'm really disappointed. But I'm back. I'm here. And I need a sponsor and I need to stop feeling so awkward. So I don't know. Just putting that out there.
Keep coming back.
Thanks.
Hey, before we wrap up, we got one last person to speak. This is a man that's, he's a mentor, and at a time in my life where I needed guidance from an adult male because I had none, I prayed for a big brother or a father, and this guy came into my life, and he's been a huge deal in my life.
KG, I'm still truly blessed to be clean and sober. What I just wanted to do is I just wanted to thank you. Can we give him a hand clap? He did a great job. Bro, you did a great job. Can y'all hear me? And so what I wanted to say was, man, thank you so much for sharing your courage, strength, and hope that you received here since you've been coming at the meeting. Over the years, when I first came around, I was inspired and encouraged by the people that came before me. And so when they saw me doing good, because, you know, when you be around here, you see people growing around here. And so at the time that I've been around here, I've watched you grow.
Can I say one thing? Hey, when I went to a meeting, man, and said I fucking feel like using, and I went to go use after the meeting, he's the man that stood there for 10 minutes and tried to talk me out of using, man, and show me that love and support that I was talking about. So it's actually a blessing you're here, man. Thank you again for that.
So real quickly, I just, you know, I thank you, man. I encourage you to continue to share. You know, you're probably the fastest speaking, sharing person I've ever seen. I'm like her. I was back there like this. I got it. I got everything. But boy, you were going fast. But you were getting it all in there, and you were clear, and you gave a clear message of recovery, man. Thank you so much. Continue to go, because you never know who's in the room. And it was honest sharing, you know what I mean? And so you allow people to understand that it's okay to be here. It's okay to make mistakes, but to get up, brush yourself off, and keep coming back. Thank you.
So, on behalf of the board, 2218 Phoenix NA, we want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank Tina for collecting the money. I want to thank David for reading the clarity statements, Rob for reading how it works, Taylor, you did an awesome job, you rock. And I want to thank everyone for the call-ups. And look, check this out. If you're struggling right now, you're in a room full of people that love you. Flag someone down after the meeting. There's plenty of people that'll talk to you. Get some numbers. You know, we're all here for each other. Please help me close with the gratitude statement. Hey, can I get a couple people to put chairs away?